there's anything bad. We did a crawl space job that was pretty gnarly. 21-inch crawl space.
Oh, your ass ain't fitting in that.
No. Oh, believe me, you'd be super surprised where I can fit. Like,
I thought it was 21 inch.
Yeah. Like, was it 21 or 23? I can't remember, but it was not comfortable.
So what's up, HVAC crew, trade crew? Welcome back to another episode. HVAC R&D, we've got a guest on tonight. We're pumped about this guy. Like I just said, I'm probably going to be talking like him or attempt to talk like him by the end of the show. Can't help it. It's a great accent, but let's see what he's been up to. So without further ado, let's get it going.
Yeah, come on. So what's up, trade crew? As Dennis said, as always, welcome back to another episode of HVAC R&D. We do have a guest tonight. This episode is brought to you by Rector Seal, who is taking care of both us and our guest in the next couple of weeks at AHR. So as we get into the shameless self-promotion, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at the new handle at HVAC.R&D. It's coming back quicker than I expected, so we appreciate it, everybody. Trying to get back to where we were. TikTok at HVAC R&D is starting to grow strong, as is our LinkedIn and Facebook, so appreciate everybody. Also, please make sure to check us out on Trade Hounds, the app exclusively for tradespeople, community, camaraderie, fostering a big trade family, as we always say. I used to always plug the fact that there's exclusive content over there. Well, by God, there's exclusive content over there now, everybody, because Instagram deleted all the rest of it. So if you want all the cool old stuff, get on over to Trade Hounds and find HVAC R&D. Closing in on 1,400 members of the old trade crew. So one day the Trade Hounds people will listen to the fact that I plug them every episode for like 3 months now. Thanks for listening, guys.
Yeah, just trying to get a blue check, right?
Trying to get my blue check, but the things we do for social media.
That's right.
Also, thank you to our other partners, One Thing Marketing, BetterHelp, Chirp, who was on our last episode, as well as Service Titan. We got a couple more partnerships that are coming, so we'll let you guys know those soon. For any other information, please check the link tree in our bios of all our social media. But the moment everyone is waiting on, a member of our Canadian trade crew that has shown us so much love. You know him as the strongest man in HVAC. At least it sounded good. Please welcome Mr. Ben Thomson, Mr. HVAC Strong, to the show.
Yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who goes along with you. If I get drunk, well, I know I'm gonna be the man who gets drunk next to you. And if I heaver, yeah, I know I'm gonna be the man who's heavering to you. But I would walk 500 miles and I would walk 500 more to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door.
What's up, man?
Yeah.
Welcome.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you.
I was talking to a buddy of yours today, the HVAC doctor.
Oh, yeah?
And I think he was trying to explain to me that you moved. Is it further up?
Yes, sir.
Over? Okay, he was
Yeah,
trying
we're 10 hours north of Vancouver now,
Yikes!
in the frozen north. Yeah, it's last week was negative 38. I think it got down to. That's Celsius. So what?
Oh.
Almost negative 40 Fahrenheit plus some wind chill. So I think we were down below negative 40.
Your Celsius was definitely showing.
Yeah, it certainly was. Or there wasn't much showing really at that temperature. It was all. But yeah, man, it gets pretty cold up here. I mean, cold has never really bothered me before, but man, it's at that temperature, it just hurts. Everything hurts.
I mean, what's the warmest you're gonna see this summer?
Oh man, during summer it's like positive. Well, we got up to like plus 32, which is what, high 90s, something like that. I don't know. I should know Fahrenheit a lot better than I do for being an HVAC technician, but
right.
I can do Fahrenheit when working on equipment, but as soon as it comes to outdoor temperature, I'm like, oh yeah, Celsius is fine. Yeah, we didn't even get a fall this year. It just went summer to winter, and that was it. And then now today it was up to -1. So like we had a 30-degree difference in like the space of 4 or 5 days.
That's crazy.
That sounds like South Carolina.
Yeah, it's everywhere at the moment. It's weird, man. Usually like everyone says they get a spell up here where it's like -40 for a week, and then they just kind of have it around -12, between like -10, -20, somewhere there, and it sits there, but it's up and down like a fucking yo-yo right now. It really is crazy.
Whew, no, thank you.
Yeah. We're gonna have to get into some of these systems you're putting in at that tent, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
did training today, and these guys are like, "Hey, so when should we bring the furnace on? About 10 degrees?" I'm like, "Sure, man." I mean, that's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, I get it.
Which is cool. Everybody's got their different areas, but yeah, that temp up there, we got to talk about that. But
yeah, that's a whole different level right there.
Yeah, it's it definitely takes some getting used to. And the other day, the coldest day actually that we had so far, I spent 5.5 hours on a Walmart roof trying to fix their DDC system, which wasn't happening. So that wasn't enjoyable. Indeed. That's the only words I had for it too.
I mean, what Walmart in general, it's just a lot of anxiety when you go to Walmart. A lot going on there. I feel like the roof's probably the best place to be at a Walmart.
Well, yeah. There's, the people at Walmart website. It doesn't get any better. It doesn't matter where you are in the world. Walmart's just a mess. So
really, yeah, I don't know what's
I
up.
used to. I had a company that I sold to when I worked in Greenville years ago. That they did Walmart upfits like all over the Southeast. So we would drop ship all the resoners to the Walmarts for them.
Yep.
So the other place that I guess is decent is at least the cart area. You can hang out by the unit heater.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, it wasn't a good scenario. Like I got called out to look at one unit, and I got there, and they're like, "Oh yeah, by the way, 95% of the store isn't heating." And this is negative 40 outside, right? So their sprinkler lines are freezing, and everyone's like wearing jackets to stand at the checkout to do their job and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'll have a look. And so I went up to the roof, and right enough, nothing's running. So no signal getting sent up, nothing. So I went down to the main control panel for the DDC, and it's just everything's in alert, but you can't access anything from the store. So it was what was the name of it? A Novar system, I believe, like an old Honeywell system or something. Oh, so I called them, and they're like, I'm on the hold for an hour, and then I finally get somebody, and he goes, "Yeah, I can't get into the system." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" He goes, "Well, somebody else is logged in somewhere, and I can't access it." And I'm like, "You can't get more than one person in there at a time?" He's like, "No." He's like, "One person can access the whole system at a time." And I'm like, "So what are these alerts? Like, what do I do?" And he's like, "Well, I can't get in there." He's like, "So I can't reset anything for you or tell you what's going on." And I'm like, "Well, that's..."
Well, you're helpful.
Yeah.
Sounds like the guy that they fired the week before.
Yeah, literally. I'm just like, what? Like, that doesn't even make any sense. Like, I didn't even know what to say to him, And then I'm just like, cool, I got to tell the manager of this store that, yeah, fucking employees are going to freeze before they manage to figure out what's wrong with everything.
So there's no jumping it out.
Well, he was like, I want you to go up to every unit, disconnect the automation system, wire in a stat, like to 37 rooftop units outside. And I'm like, well, I would, but I only have a work order to work on the one unit that you originally called in. I'm like, and I have a like DNE on the work order, so I can't spend more than the amount they've allocated to it. And I'm like, I've been here 5.5 hours trying to figure this out for you. I'm like, so you're like, you've spent that. Like, I can't do anything else on this work order. Like, you're done. And he's like, well, this is ridiculous. So he started shouting at me, and that just doesn't work with me. So I was like, okay, bye. See ya.
I'm like, well, enjoy your cold ass the rest of the day. Thanks.
Literally, like, if you want me to help, speak to me nicely, and I'll maybe do something for you. But as soon as you start shouting at me, I'm gone. Like, that's just not how you speak to people. So
yeah, I have noticed a lot of people will attempt that today. In today's world, squeaky wheel gets the grease, but
yeah,
to a point.
I'm out on that.
Yeah, like I'd already been there. I was only scheduled to be there for an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I'd already spent extra time, like pushed my whole day to try and figure it out. And I'd put some of the units into test mode so I could fire the heating at least for a little bit, but they only run for 10 minutes and then they turn off again. So I wasn't running around a roof all day just putting them back in test mode every 10 minutes. So as soon as he started being a dick, I'm like, yeah, peace. I'm gone, man. Sorry.
All right, so there's one thing we can do to get us warmed up here. Talking about that makes me cold, so we're going to have to get into some drinking here.
As if we haven't done that enough in the last couple of days.
Right?
Yep.
All right, well, I've kind of already pre-gamed for tonight, but let's keep it rolling. What you bring, Ben? What you drinking on?
I currently have a Corona that I'm finishing off, which is from my dinner. And I got a glass of 10-year-old Glendronach single malt sitting beside me here, which will get polished off pretty quick, I'm sure.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
I got quite a selection of single malts, being a Scotsman, so I thought
you got to send us a picture of that bottle.
Oh, sure.
Yes, you do.
Oh, yes.
It's probably something we don't really get to see much.
No, it's probably hella expensive down there too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sure.
The import tax on proper whiskey is just, oh man, it's horrid. Even up here, I get my parents to send me it over. It's easier that way.
Right. How about you, Rhydon?
Well,
are you limping in?
He's not sure. Whatever he grabbed on the way to the computer.
That's right. So tonight I am drinking a Veracruzan, which is a Mexican lager made by 11 Lakes Brewing over in Cornelius, not far from where I live, the first place I lived in Charlotte. So, let's see.
Everybody's drinking a summer
Very
beer
nice.
tonight.
I mean, Ben needs to drink a summer beer so he
Beer,
can at least
Ben's up there in the
feel
tundra drinking
Right.
Coronas.
Say it with me, sunlight.
All right, so I'm probably going to screw this name up, in my redneck voice here. I'm drinking a beer just for Ben. This is a 1983 beer. It's a premium light Canadian Pilsner. I don't know if he's a Labatt's Blue or Labatt's Blue. Labatt. Okay.
Well, I say it as Labatt, but everyone tells me I pronounce everything wrong anyway. So
I'm going to go with Labatt. I say Labatt's. I can't remember what Foodie and them told me to call, but that's what I got.
They're probably like, piss.
it's nice. It's nice.
Yeah. How do you pronounce that? Yeah, piss. That's how you pronounce it. I know Matt's extremely disappointed in me, but they were on special tonight at the old bar, so
That's
what
all
I
that
started
matters.
on.
Hey, as long as it's wet, you're good.
It's a good beer. It's not that bad. It's a light beer.
There are worse.
I mean, I don't feel like some of these beers are that much different, like this or Boston Lager or Corona. I mean, Heineken. We can just go on. They're not that much different.
I mean, I like touching heinies, so.
Touching heinies. Yep.
That's
all right. So
not the kind of heinies I'm used to touching, but never mind.
Oh, hang on, Ryan. I'm getting a text here. Let's see who this is. Oh, it's Chirp. Chirp Automation letting me know that all of our contractors need to go check out the link tree in the bios of our social media and get you 25% off first 3 months of Chirp Automation. Look, guys, I've been a contractor. We were a small company. It was just a few of us, and we had the worst time trying to get back to our customers. So if you haven't listened to our show already with Ryan from Chirp on there, you need to. He breaks it down start to finish from the first point of contact with the customer and the journey they will have with Chirp. If you're not using services like this, guys, you need to. It don't take much to get ahead of your competition in the home services industry. We talk about that on the show as well. So go check it out. Get ahead of the game for your company, whether you're large or small. So reach out to us on social media, Linktree, get your 25% off your first 3 months of service. Let them know HVAC R&D sent you. Let's get it going. Yeah, come on. So what have you been getting into on? Tell us about your Instagram, man. You got a good page going. I love watching the voiceover
to
stuff.
tell. People always ask me this, and I'm like, I don't really feel like I'm doing anything special. Like, it's just me being me. I don't know.
Well,
I guess that's the draw of it.
There's
like,
a
as
lot
I
of
said
people
before, I sound like
don't-
Chris Hemsworth, and I'm devilishly handsome. So, I mean, sold.
That'll do it.
I don't know. I started off on my personal page like a couple years ago, just posting, like, along with me lifting heavy stuff, just posting pictures of work and things like that. And then when I started my business, I was like, okay, well, I guess I need a business page. So just moved it over to that. And just post the work I do. People like seeing, well, I like to think I do good work. So I say people like seeing good work, and I just like having fun with it, doing my stories, doing some reels here and there. Just keep it fun. Like, there's no point in having a serious business page, that doesn't get you, like, it doesn't really get you anywhere. Like, there's lots of companies out there who have a business page, and it's all just like super serious. And I started off kind of being a little more serious and doing some like business-esque posts, like, call us for servicing, call us for it doesn't get you anything, so I'm just like, I'm just going to use this to get my name out there, have some fun, post my work because I'm proud of it, see if others like it, and go from there, So
yeah, I feel like social media is entertainment, right?
Totally.
Jump on TikTok, jump on Instagram. I don't go to Instagram to find like somebody that's going to fix my truck or somebody that's going to work on something, right?
Totally. And that's the way I kind of look at it too. But surprisingly, when we lived in Vancouver, which obviously is a very, like, I guess, trendy, cosmopolitan sort of place, I used to get a lot of work through Instagram. Like, probably, 50, 60% of my work came through that, with contractors contacting me because they put their stuff on there. And
okay, I can see that.
Like, some people would find me on there as well. They'd like look up HVAC Vancouver and find companies, and they'd contact me. And, it was actually very surprising. Whereas, like, where I am now is a very, like, blue collar town. Like, everyone works shift work, or not everyone, but a lot of people work shift work, and they go, snowmobiling and like 4x4ing and all this kind of stuff. And nobody really pays a lot of attention, or as much attention, to social media and stuff. So it's more just about having fun. It's part of my day. It's kind of instinct, okay, I'm going to get going this morning. I'll do my intro like I usually do, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. Reels are, I was going to say, I was trying to make a reel before we got on the show, and it's just, God, it's stressful as shit trying to like, and then you make one and you're like,
too many times. Fuck.
I know. I'm like, God, just pick a song already. I mean, God, just post it. Let's go.
Yeah, it's time consuming too. Like, I'm reels, like my wife constantly gets on me. She's like, make more reels. Like, people find them funny, people like them, you get more, traffic through your page, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, but by the time I film something at work and then I sit down at nighttime and it still takes me another hour to put music on it and splice it and all this stuff, I'm like, God damn, like.
Yeah, don't ever look at the clock before you start making a reel.
No.
You get lost in that thing.
No, I know. My wife makes reels. She is kind of like a partnership with a women's like underwear company, and she has to do reels as part of her like little contract that she has. Man, sometimes it takes like 2.5+ hours for her to film everything and put it together and post it. And I'm like, I don't have time for that shit. Like, if I want to make something, I want to make it now and post it. And if it's funny, cool. If not, well, if you don't like it, whatever. But I don't want to sit there in 2 hours and then somebody be like, yo, this is stupid.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'm good for 1 or 2 a week. And then luckily me and Rhydon can kind of attack the page together. But
yeah.
Still though, it's a lot of time, man. We have guys on the show, or women too on the show. They're like, man, it's a full-time job, especially the ones that have a big page.
Yep,
totally. And I find like everyone always explains to me like Instagram or social media in any sort of aspect is return on investment, and the more time you put into it, the more you get back. And I'm like, yeah, but now, as I said, I'm not getting so much work through it. I'm like, the only thing I'm getting back is follows and. Okay, right. Getting followers. Getting followers is cool, but it's not why I have my page. So yes, that's nice and gives me more coverage, but like it's not paying my bills. So until it starts doing that, I'll just keep doing what I'm doing.
Yeah, I know. Me and Rhydon, obviously, we lost ours. Right, we had 1168 or something.
11 something.
Yeah. And that's just 2 years from zero. So it wasn't terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But this podcast, right, is what we have, and nobody's going to take that.
Totally.
The shows are out there. We're going to keep recording. The companies that reach out to us and stuff like that, it ain't because of our Instagram. That's for sure. No. But exactly. It is fun to put stuff on there,
Yeah, I mean, I know I need to make more reels, like funny reels, because people like them, and it's always fun to make fun of my apprentice. But as I said, just getting time is always a hard thing.
So you got somebody that rides around with you?
Yeah, finally I found somebody. I say finally, he's been with me 4 or 5 months now. So yeah, it seems like a good kid. It's hard to find anybody in Vancouver. There's a huge trade shortage, and up here is even worse. So. It's super difficult to get anybody, but you just gotta, I guess, find people at the bottom and bring them up to where you need them.
What's what's the population where you are now? Like how rural is it?
Oh, it's 80,000 people, but like not tiny, but it's definitely still got a very small town feel. Like I said, it's very blue collar and everyone's super nice. That's why I love it. Like I grew up on a farm in the middle of nowhere in Scotland, and my dad is a farmer and a general contractor, so I grew up in the trades. So it's definitely more my sort of feel, right? Being in Vancouver, where it's just highly populated and filled with dicks.
Sounds like where I live.
Yeah, just not my thing, right? Yeah. So I was super happy to get out of there.
That's cool.
Yeah, no offense to anybody who lives in Vancouver.
Right?
Yeah. You guys know who you are.
Right? So what have you been working on, Rhydon? I hadn't even
so it's the last week of the year. I'm in sales, so everyone's just, push it out the door the next 2 days.
Some shit.
Go sell some shit in Ash's words.
Oh, yeah, man. I actually did a training class today. I've never trained this deep into the year. Most companies will, they're not having you out to do any training. And this time, Showed up at a contractor shop today. They had no heat in the shop, right? Hit the roll-up door. I backed the trailer up there. Unloaded in there. I got the running system on a little cart. And I'm like, are we training in here? Like, are we going to stand in here for 3 hours? I mean, it was probably 25, 30 degrees in their shop. I'm like, this is an HVAC company. Y'all don't have any heat out here? This is ridiculous.
Saving gas money, Dennis.
I guess. I mean, they're all just looking at me like, I mean, I guess we could stand out here. I'm like, nah, let's. So we did a little bit of PowerPoint in there. They got a training room, but you couldn't put equipment in there. Then we went out there for, about an hour and fired up the equipment. And I did see some Aeon units they had floating around in there. So they do a little bit of everything. But, yeah, it was a good training class. Like I said, I've never trained. Usually it's spring and fall. I don't know if you go to classes, Ben. You train up on stuff?
Yeah.
You go to contractor training? I mean.
Yeah, most of them are kind of all year round. I mean, the ones that I've done have kind of been all over the place. But, I mean, they're all been like at location, like their location, So.
Like distributor?
Yeah, nobody ever comes to see me.
Okay.
Yeah, unless they're taking me to the bar. Like, nobody ever comes to see me.
I mean, I'll pull up. I'll drive up there.
Sure, man. I mean, I would suggest not driving.
I would suggest not.
Yeah. I mean, fly
at least
by
not this time of year.
Yeah, fly by any means. But yeah, the drive's nice in summer.
Right?
Yeah.
When it's 90 degrees.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
What?
So, I mean, they keep the roads clean up there?
Yeah, I mean, the city does a really good
Everybody's
job.
prepared
Yeah, I mean, the
for it.
place, I mean, the other day we had 16 inches of snow fell in like 24 hours, so that was a little bit of a shit show, but the city has a crazy amount of equipment and those guys work tirelessly. So, I mean, it's as good as it's going to be, the hard packed snow on our roads will be here till March.
Which actually drives well, right?
Oh yeah, because they put down like a sand gravel mix, so you get grip. Right. So that's fine. But with this freeze thaw that we're having, it's like it's dangerous, man. Like yesterday, the roads were good, and then I wake up this morning and they're like an ice rink. So it's it's definitely up and down. And my transit van's rear wheel drive, so it can be fun.
Oh yeah, so I had the same van you have when I was in the field, and not good. Of course, I was in Atlanta, and we get a little bit of snow, and then it just freezes.
Yep.
I mean, it melts, and then it just freezes. So it's straight ice, and those vans don't do well. I mean, the best thing you can do is just load them down, I guess.
Yeah, well, I mean, all the stock and tools and stuff I have is pretty heavy in the back anyway, so it's not. I haven't had too many issues. But as I said, with the ice, it's worse. Snow, not so bad. I have chains if I need to, and I've got my winters on, so it's not as big a deal. But yeah, the ice, I got stuck in the fucking drive-thru getting a coffee today because they hadn't cleared the ice. Luckily, the person behind me hadn't pulled up too close, so I managed to reverse a little bit and take a run up at it. But I was just like, I knew
run up and just grab the coffee on the move.
It was while I was at the window, so like she gave me my coffee. I rolled my window up and I went to drive away, and it's just like, I'm like, oh, son of a. So like jokingly, I like looked at my apprentice. I'm like, you're gonna have to get out and push, and he's just like, what? And I'm like, yeah, I'm joking, idiot.
Yeah, I quit.
And that's when we wish we had video in the cab.
Yeah, literally. Yeah. So no, I got to run up at it. I was fine after that, but there's definitely some slick patches out there right now.
All right, so take us through, if you're up for it, take us through your, what's your career path?
Yeah, how did you get from middle of nowhere Scotland to...
Oh, God, right.
And so it begins.
To where you are.
And so the Cajun started before I did.
Now, my great-great-grandfather was Aurelius McDonald Bennett, okay?
Oh, okay.
I will own that. I will own my Scottish heritage too. Thank you.
So where do I start? I don't know. Everyone's probably heard this story already, so I'll try to keep it brief. But yeah, grew up in Scotland, moved to the States with my ex-wife. And I was in Texas briefly for a while. Couldn't get a job in HVAC. Not sure why or how, because I had worked in industrial commercial on oil rigs all over the world for 9 years. That's what I served my apprenticeship doing as well. Couldn't get a job, I guess, just because I was new to the country, just on just a new green card, etc. So I got offered a job in Seattle from a company through ZipRecruiter, and I was like, man, that's like opposite end of the world, you know.
Right.
And they were like, well, if you can come up here and pass a piss test, you got a job. Like, we'll give you tools, we'll give you a truck, like you can start now.
All
right, give me 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, actually, I packed up a rental car and drove up there straight away. 2.5 days driving straight. Slept in the car, you know, just hammered it.
There you go.
Did my piss test, started working, and honestly, I lied every bit of the way. I'd never seen a furnace before, so that was new. Central AC doesn't exist in Scotland, so that was new. They
I was
asked
gonna say, how does it compare to just an oil rig, like what you did on there?
Oh man, like I was doing like walk-in freezers, chillers, like giant water-cooled condensing units that feed like the accommodation block on a rig. Like, because we're on rigs in the middle of the sea, right? Not land rigs. So, I was working on huge stuff. So
yeah, residential don't really.
No, they were like, "Can you do this?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." They're like, "Okay." They're like, "Do you do boilers?" I'm like, "Well, yeah, I've worked on some boilers," which I had, but like our boilers back home are completely different to your guys' boilers. So yeah, just kind of like walked into it, and then literally they give me a truck, they give me tools, they give me an apprentice who was like a third year, and like we got to the job, and then he's like, "Okay, like we're doing a furnace." I'm like, "Cool." Where do we start?
Get on it.
Like,
Get on it.
You got it. And so, just took manuals home, literally every day, took a manual home, read it, learned, watch videos, learn how to do furnaces. I could build sheet metal with my eyes closed, so that was fine. You know, and a lot of time that's half the battle because most guys don't know how to.
Yep.
And then, just kind of worked my way from there. And then, like, I was like their lead installer by the end of the first year or whatever. And then got a work visa to come up to Canada, worked for a company for 2 years. I was their lead installer, and then went self-employed. Once I got my residency up in Canada.
Sweet.
So it's been a bit of a trip. The last 5 years has been pretty nuts, you know, and then we moved up here. So it's been a lot, but hopefully now this is kind of home for a good while.
I was going to say, you feel more at home up there.
Oh, 100%. Like,
okay.
I was a fish out of water in Vancouver. Like, I probably went downtown Vancouver 3 times in 2 years, like out with work, you know. It's just not my thing, you know.
I was thinking Texas would have been a real crazy.
Yeah.
Which I
so
feel
much
like
for the state motto of friendship.
Man, I feel
like HVAC job.
Especially in Houston. Like, I was in Houston, and like, don't get me wrong, I like Houston, but it's people are very self-absorbed. Like, Houston is Houston, and that's it. Like, that's all that matters, or that's my like view on how people look at it, and it kind of drives me insane. Like, I get the place is huge and it's pretty cool, but I couldn't live there, I don't think. I definitely need my space. You know, where we are now, we bought a house because Vancouver's unaffordable for anything. So we own our house. It backs onto walking trails. It's right next to a park.
Perfect.
You know, we drive 2 minutes and we can be in another park. It's great for my daughter. We're on a cul-de-sac. There's no through traffic, nothing, you know, so it's awesome. You know, I love it. But career path after that, I don't know, man. I want to try and grow this company, but trying to find tradesmen, or good tradesmen, I should say, is so hard. You know, just like impossible at times.
I want to come up with an answer for that, man. I know everybody's trying. I know some guys personally that been in the field a long time, and then they built a company and then they sold it, and now they're trying to come up with a training solution, and everybody tries to put a timeline on it, right? Like,
Yeah.
man, we'll get this guy ready in 8 weeks. He'll be ready.
No.
Or is it a year, or is it, is it 6 weeks? Like, everybody has this, and there's just, I don't think we've got it figured out. I mean, there's not like this just button to push. And
no, man, it's like a 10 the issue that we're in at the moment is like a 10-year turnaround. You know what I mean? Before you're at the point where there's enough trades guys to do what you need them to do to cover everything. But then the issue you now have is with, California and Vancouver and all this guys pushing for full electric or, hydrogen is what they're pushing for now. Well, how do you have hydrogen plants and run hydrogen, transfer stations and all that when it has to be cool all the time and you need HVAC guys and there aren't any, so
right.
Like, you have to train the people or at least look ahead to where we're going and try and think, okay, we're going to need this many people to actually make this possible and look and see if that's even achievable. Because at the moment it's not. But I mean, that's what happens when your schooling system gets, so jaded that, we force everybody into computer jobs because that's where the future is. Well, no, trades still hold up the damn world. Like, you forgot that.
Yeah.
Last time I checked, you need cooling systems to keep those computers from blowing up. So you don't want to keep the trade guy.
Totally. No. It's just so ass backwards. And the UK, it's a worldwide thing. It's not just here. The UK is the same. Anywhere that I've worked, and I've worked all over the world, it's been the same issue. So it's very unfortunate that we've put ourselves into this predicament. And it's not going to be a quick fix. There is no quick fix,
Yeah, I think, we had Trevor on here.
Yep.
And he said it ain't never been any different and it's not going to ever change.
Yep.
At the end of the day, right? It's just, we have to try to, you as a business owner, you got to try to figure it out in your little world. And I mean, just when we get something figured out, there's something else coming along. It's going to
totally. It just puts so much stress and strain on companies, like big companies, small companies. It doesn't matter who you are. It's just such a defining factor on how you run your business. And it's really fucking stressful. I'm not going to lie. It sucks, At least if you're a bigger company, you have buying power. Like, you can steal guys a lot easier,
Right.
That's the thing I find is, like, I've tried to be nice. Like, I'm in a small place. I don't want to piss anybody off. And I've tried being nice and I've tried finding guys and it doesn't happen. So now it's at the point where, okay, I got to poach, I got to poach people and I got to poach hard or it's just not going to happen, but when you're a small company, it's not, the money's not the issue. Like, I can throw money at anybody. That doesn't bother me. It's like, guys are like, well, I need the benefits and I need this and I need that. And because there's such a shortage of trades, they'll ask the fucking world. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, and it, up here, guys are more comfortable where, like, you'd really have to push hard to get them to move company because as long as they're making enough money so they can buy ATVs and play, during winter, go snowmobiling and all that kind of stuff, then they're happy. Whereas Vancouver, guys will jump for $2 an hour. You know what I mean? Guys will fight over a $2 increase because, okay, on my next paycheck, I'm not going to be as poor as I was before.
It's the same thing. I feel like you see where we are. Yeah. And like, I grew up in a extremely rural place too. We talked about it when my dad was on the show. Even him still running his company now, it's just him and maybe one or two other guys at the most. Because you just can't find anybody that even wants to try to learn the trade anymore, hardly. There's very few companies. I know, Dennis, you were at another company up that way recently, and they were started the same time my dad did. And, they struggled for years, trying to just find employees like all the rest of us because there's just no one up there.
Well, and you get a guy trained up and he's really good and he crushes it for you. And then he starts his own company and you're excited for him, but you're like, shit, now he's gone. Yep. I mean, that's a problem. You're talking about poaching guys. I have contractors that have, 15, maybe 10 or 15 techs, or a total of 10 or 15 guys for install and service. And we try to get them to come to a training class. They're like, no, we're not coming to the hotel training. You got to come to us, because if we go in there, the companies in there that are also in there are going to steal our guys.
Yep.
Like, that's a thing. I mean, so your 2 and 3 man guys, they come to the hotel training. You get 5 or 6 companies in there, but the big boys, I have to go to their shop. They're not. I mean, it's just trying to keep their guys, keep what they got.
Yeah, and it's like the trade school up here only runs like electrical and plumbing and stuff. They don't do HVAC, so it's even harder to get guys, because when you want them to go to school, they have to go away, which is just another hurdle to overcome, So it's like,
right.
I've even said to guys in the States, like I've messaged tons of guys on Instagram. I'm like, you want to come work for me? I'll sort out the visa process. Like, I'll work through that and get it done. Like, I'm happy to work through that. If I can get somebody who's willing to move. I've been trying to get guys to move from Ontario, which is obviously the other side of Canada. But, I'm willing to, if I know somebody who's good and they want to work, man, I'll do what it takes. But yeah, it's probably
you gotta
stress as a small business owner, for sure.
Do you know what size you're wanting to get to, you think, comfortably? I mean,
man, I've spoken to lots of people on stuff like that and where it should be at. And I've always said I'd like to have 3 to 5 vans on the road,
Yeah, that's a good
That's
number.
excluding myself. So like, I'd be additional to that. But like 3 to 5 vans, in my opinion, is manageable. It's big enough that you can crush work. Like, you can crush a bunch of work, but it's small enough that you can still manage it properly and keep an eye on what's going on, who's doing what needs fixed, things like that. In my opinion, anyway, right? But we're also looking at other avenues in which we can expand, whether that's like a sister company that does maybe something else or something along that sort, just because we're struggling to grow the HVAC side the way I like. So maybe we do something or start something else that can boost revenue streams, and we can use that to kind of build the HVAC company, vice versa, stuff like that.
Now, talking about adding stuff like that, how long is your process? Like, let's say you wanted to add electrical. Mm-hmm. How long is your process of doing that, since you already are a tradesperson? But do you have to totally start over?
I could do that tomorrow.
That's what I was going to say. Or can you just go, you have the option to go take the test because you've already passed another trades test of some sort. Sure. So you can work and get the hours to go take it.
Yeah, for me, when I wouldn't bother. You know what I mean? Like, as a business owner, I don't think I would go and do it unless I had to. That would be a long process because I'd have to do my apprenticeship and all that stuff in electrical.
Okay, so that's what I was wondering.
Yeah,
do you guys have to do that kind of thing?
Like, if I can, there are certain trades in this town that are a little more accessible. So, it may be, as I said, we set up a different company focusing on something else, and I get guys for that, right? Is kind of more where I'm kind of looking. So that's kind of where I'm kind of thinking of moving towards in order to help kind of move things along.
Well, you can also too, if you start, say, another trade business and you've got guys that are working for that business, every now and then between busy seasons or what you need, you can always, cross train guys to do both. And that's how you figure out which ones really want to do which.
Oh, 100%. And I have a few guys I've spoken to who are interested in stuff like that already. So that's, you're and I are kind of on the same line there in kind of the way of thinking. And yes, they might not be ticketed in HVAC, but if they can help, on jobs and they have half a brain and they can do the basics, then sometimes that's the hardest part.
Guys, run some ductwork when you need it. Get up there, buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think it's a shame that if you want to grow a company, the one thing holding you back is just getting a person. It used to be like, oh, I got to get a van. I got to stock it with all these tools. Now we just literally can't find a body
to
put in it.
Yeah. Yep. It's a sad situation.
It is. I mean, I came up in the, construction industry. My dad was a builder. I was a wood guy. And I think it's just the same and all that too. Like running trim and framing a house, all that. I don't know if it's the generation or.
I don't know, man. Like my dad's 60, was he 67? He's at he's only got 8 fingers. He's had a hip replacement. He's had a triple heart bypass, and he only just retired. Like,
right.
And he still runs the farm too, like, and he could still be working now. Like he gets people calling him daily to do stuff, and,
right.
And yes, that is also because of reputation and whatnot, but it's also just because there's such a shortage of guys, and the ones who are out there are pretty shit, So yeah, as we said for the last 10 minutes, it's just a crappy situation for everyone to be in. And I do hope it gets sorted out fairly soon, but until then, we just kind of got to lick our wounds and push on through best we can.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think on the school side, I don't know if you've had any guys come from a trade school to you, but I talked to one today that was in my class. He just retired from the military. He looked pretty, he was, man, he couldn't have been, 40. I mean, he went in early, obviously, and he's just trying to figure out something to do for the rest of his life. And he went to a little, I think he said it was 8 weeks. He got just a good base, I guess you could say, of HVAC. And
yep.
Now he's with this company, and he's got to start at the bottom there. He's going to start an install helper or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I think we at least have a little bit of that here. Don't sound like, after talking to HVAC Jess, right? It's quite an ordeal up there to get.
Huge ordeal.
Yeah, there's not a little 6 to 8 week, 18 months, this and that to jump into and then jump out.
Well, there's a course you can do, but it's a 6-month course. Like it's not just like a quick,
right.
Here's what you guys are going to be doing, and they run over a few things and that's it. It's a 6-month course, and then as you say, you start at the bottom. So when you get some older guys, a lot of people up here, or the ones I've spoken to, don't want to start at the bottom. They're like,
right.
well, I'm older. I should be getting paid more. And I'm like, well, it doesn't work that way. Like a trade's a trade. If you don't know anything about it, you get paid the same as the 20-year-old that doesn't know shit.
Right.
So I'm sorry. I understand your predicament. I understand you have a wife and kid at home, but you made the choice, that you wanted to try HVAC. I can't just pay you $40 an hour because you're old, or older, I should say. Not old, but.
That'd be a sweet gig, right?
Shit, yeah. Like I'm 32. I'd be expecting to get paid more too, but that's, just the way it is.
So looks like we can get into some AHR. I think you're going to AHR. I seen you got
I am.
You're going to be all over. Have you been there before?
Man, I've been trying for 3 years. I'm finally getting there. Like last year,
this
I had
place is
all ready to go, and then we ended up moving house. My wife had spinal surgery. We ended up moving house. Everything just all at the time when AHR was, because they rescheduled it, and I was heartbroken. I honestly was. So this year, I'm like, yes, I'm going. That's it. It's going to be a yearly trip I do. Tough titties. That's I'm going.
I mean, that's a lot for you to go down there, right? I mean, it's a little bit different.
That's a bit of a haul at this point.
Oh yeah, yeah.
A whole different one than Vegas. Jeez.
Yeah, it's I got to fly here to Vancouver to Calgary, which is halfway across Canada. So I got 2 flights just to get in Canada, still in Canada, and then down to Georgia. And they're expensive as hell. So. But luckily the business pays for it.
Hey, there you go.
But
I'm not going to tell you it's a 4-hour drive for me.
Well, thanks.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's fucking 12 hours of flying for me.
Flying. Yeah, 12 hours of flying.
Yeah.
We will see you there, sir.
I'll be drunk by the time I get there.
I will say that, alcohol is back rolling on the plane. I flew to Pennsylvania earlier this month and on American.
Yep.
and they're slinging some alcohol again, so that's nice.
I never even realized that stopped, but I guess I didn't. I didn't fly.
I don't know if it was a COVID thing. Well, American, I didn't see it on American for a while. Like all of last year, I didn't see it on my little local flights anyway.
Yeah, because I was just down in Texas in November, and it was the same. There was still all the booze and everything, so we're all good.
Yeah, it was
So
definitely flowing when I went to Texas in October.
Oh, yeah. My son's flying to Dublin.
Nice.
And he's going to actually be in the St. Patrick's Day parade there.
Oh, really?
So what? Yeah, in the band. He's his high school is going to be in the parade. I don't know what that's like. Is it pretty crazy? Or
probably. I mean, I can't say I've ever been part of a St. Patrick's Day parade in Ireland, but yeah, that'll be probably pretty nuts, I would suspect.
I think it's a 9-hour flight for him there.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. Dublin's awesome. I spent a lot of time in Ireland too. I worked in the shipyard in Belfast for a year on a rig there that was getting overhauled, and yeah, it's how old is he?
He'll be 18 then.
Oh man, he's in for a good time.
Oh,
I've already told we've already Googled all of that.
Oh yeah, there's one thing the Irish can do better than anybody, and that is party. Oh man,
yeah,
and the women drink more than the men.
Nice. Now is that room temp beer there? Do they drink it room temp? Or?
No, that's like an English thing. The warm beer. Yeah.
Yep.
No, nobody likes them anyway.
Right.
But yeah, the Irish definitely. If he likes Guinness, he'll get the best pint of Guinness he's ever had.
Yeah, I've heard it's just different, right? You don't even get a hangover there.
Guinness
doesn't have preservatives in it.
Yeah, Guinness doesn't travel well. It's something to do with like pressurization and
right,
all this kind of stuff. It just does not travel well. Drinking out of cans is not good either. But yeah, it's over there is next level. It just slides down so easy.
Oh,
and you don't even need to eat, because having a couple of pints of that's like a 3-course meal. So you're good.
Right.
Man, I went on a rugby. Sorry to change subject. I went on a rugby flight once. We flew over on a charter plane to Ireland to go watch a game of rugby, and we were there for 3 days. I only had one meal, and the rest of the time we just drank Guinness. Like, it was so good.
Man, I feel like
dang it. So are you a rugby guy or are you a football guy?
Oh, yeah. Well, are you talking soccer?
I'm talking real football, not American bullshit.
Oh, yeah. No, on rugby. I played rugby high level up until my 20s. And then
I love watching rugby if I can catch it on like the Ocho or something.
Yeah, I just actually got back into playing. It's been 10 years since I played, and I decided when I moved that I needed to take up a sport again, so I went back to playing. But shit, it hurts a lot more now.
I was just about to say, man, like, men's league rugby. That's that's tough to go to work the next day.
Oh man, I was crippled. I played my first game. I was like in so much pain. We play on a Saturday, so on the Sunday I could barely walk. I was like, I don't know. I said to the wife, I was like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. Like. But after a couple, it doesn't hurt as much. But maybe just because the body is always sore, I don't know.
Right? Yeah, it's hard for me to find rugby on TV here.
Yeah, in the States it can be difficult sometimes.
I don't know what the season is for that. I catch games every once in a while. So my son, he works at a pizza place, and there was a girl. She just got a full ride to Stanford on a rugby scholarship.
Oh, really?
So that's you just don't hear that much, right? I mean, and he's got a bunch of buddies that play on the high school rugby team here in Fort Mill, South Carolina. So
that's cool.
I guess it's picking up a little bit around here, but
yeah. So the first time I ever came to Canada was when I was 17, and I got drafted to play for 2 rugby teams. In Ontario. So I was playing for the under 23s, and then I was playing men's league, because when I left school, the club I went to, their youth team just got wrapped up because they didn't have enough players. So I instantly just ended up playing men's league at 16 years old. And so yeah, I got over there and I literally was there for 6 months just to play rugby. And I must admit the level was bad. Like, it's super popular, like guys are amped to play rugby, but the just the level of it was bad. Like, I was one of their best players. Like, but then when I came back now, even at the like beer league kind of, not, I'm a little higher than beer league, but at the level I'm playing now, I'm like, this, you know, things have improved a lot. And I see that in the States too, with people that I like, know that play down there. It's definitely getting more popular and the level is definitely getting higher and higher, for sure.
I remember when Rhydon was played a couple men's league soccer nights. You came in just limping, like
Dude,
the hammy.
I went and so like I grew up playing soccer, played through high school, tried to walk on in college, got hurt, but I played indoor a couple of different times. But I hadn't played in years, and Chris and I used to go to the same Mexican restaurant like every Monday for ever at one point, because we used to live right across the street. So we made friends with the guy that manages the restaurant. So I ended up going and playing soccer with him and a group of his friends. And dude, these guys whooped my ass. Absolutely. Yeah. Like, and I mean, like, he's like almost 50 and he was running circles around me.
Yeah, man, if it's something you do all the time, like, it's surprising. Some of these guys stay fit as hell.
Right.
Like, I transitioned from rugby to doing strongman, so like I was still fit when I did that. So all the moving events, like picking up fucking, I don't know, 300-pound sandbags and running around them with them and stuff, was easy. It was more the static stuff I struggle with compared to some of the other guys. So like I was like, oh yeah, I still stayed fit. Like, I'll be okay. Like, trying to sprint, and I'm like, oh my god, I'm gonna cough up a lung, you know. But I'll get there. Season starts, or preseason starts again early January, so I'm trying to get fit again for the 20th time.
Right. Yeah. I remember when I'm a baseball guy, and I was like, yeah, I can still do some baseball, and I was probably like 35, hit a nice little base hit, gonna stretch it out into, you know, a double, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to slide. Like, I hadn't slid in 5 years, and you just kind of just flop down on the ground. Like, it's awful, and you can't move the next day. You got, you know, freaking strawberries. Yeah, I mean, like, God, what am I doing out here? This is ridiculous. Where's the beer at? You got to drink. Yeah, you call beer league. That's our softball. The dugout's just full of coolers. That's what it is.
Oh yeah. But yeah, sorry, we all got sidetracked there. AHR.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't
tell
wait
us
to get
where you're gonna be. What you gonna do?
Yeah, I get down on the 4th, so I'm there kind of early. Obviously, I'm hitting up HVAC Tactical Awards.
Yep, so yeah, we'll see you there too.
Yeah, I'll be there for sure in my kilt.
Nice.
Sweet.
Yeah, dude. I ordered my kilt. I've never had a kilt. My parents are like, we're not ordering one until you stop growing, and then I never stopped growing, so they never got one. So I finally got myself a kilt, so I'm waiting for it to be delivered. So I'm just like hoping, but yeah, I'm gonna wear that thing all weekend. Or
where the hell do you order that from?
There's actually a place in Vancouver now that's doing kilts, so that's cool.
Damn, I thought you were gonna say Amazon. Damn.
No, God, no.
I'm like, what is your family
specialty
Halloween store?
Yeah, kilt's like a specialty tool, man. You have to get it from just a certain place. So okay, yeah, I've got that. I'm just gonna wear it the whole time so everyone knows who it is. But yeah, so Tactical Awards, I'm on the Centrotherm booth on the Monday is the 6th, I guess. So I'm on the Centrotherm booth, and then I'm on the Rector Seal booth the next day. So yeah, looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's gonna be great.
Let's see, you're which day?
So me and Rhydon are actually going to be walking around with some high school kids too. That are in it. Like they take a class at the high school.
Okay.
For HVAC.
Yeah.
We're doing that. Cool. We're doing that Wednesday from 10 to 11, so we won't get to see. We won't see the panel. So everybody take pictures.
Yeah. That'll be pretty sick. But yeah, I'm super excited. Like I'm staying in an Airbnb with a bunch of the Instagram guys, so I'm sure that's gonna be a mess.
boy,
Nice. Who all's in your crew?
Oh God, who's not in there? So we got Flintstone, Mike Flynn is in there. Alex from Howard Mechanical. I've forgotten who's in there. I'm actually just looking up the group chat so I can figure that out. That's terrible that I don't remember. But yeah, there's 10 of us. There's 10 of us there.
Oh shit!
It's gonna be nuts. Jeff Dem is there. Yeah. Shit, who else? I can't find the group chat. Shav, I don't know if you know Shav HVAC Life that works with Howard Mechanical, so he's gonna be there. True Blue Mechanical, I can't remember his name now. I feel terrible. So he's gonna be there. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. So
nice. We ended up grabbing an Airbnb the same way. I mean,
nice. Yeah.
Made way.
If you didn't get a hotel,
better,
well, if you didn't get a hotel like the second week that it come out, like.
Yeah, I got a hotel because I arrived the day early, but at nighttime, I got a hotel for the day I arrive, and then I leave on the 9th, so I leave a day later as well. So I got a hotel for that as well.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm hoping in my time before and after I can maybe tour around Atlanta a little bit without getting shot. I don't know, but
you'll be fine.
Yeah,
I was.
I don't own any guns, so I'm not protected. So
you'll be fine. That area is nice. I mean, I was born there, so
no, I'm just joshing.
There is some shit holes there. I mean, like any city, I guess.
Yeah.
One street is $1 million. The next street, your car's on blocks. Like it's what it is.
Standard big city.
Right. So
that's why I don't like it.
I did all my HVACing down there, so it was quite interesting.
Yeah, I was hearing that. I was listening to one of your other. Who were you talking to? Ben Poole from HVAC Tactical. You were explaining about like Atlanta, Georgia, and stuff like that, and Steve Harvey's house. Was that you? I think as well.
That's me. That was
I was
me.
Listening to that, and I was like, "Damn, that's fucking awesome."
Well, yeah, you just don't. I mean, driving around doing service there sucked because the traffic. We'd always, for whatever reason, would put so many calls on the day, and I'm like, we're not going to get to these. Like, the first call, you're there on time. You never get to another one on time, ever after that.
Yep. Unless
they're all in the same neighborhood.
Vancouver's the same. You run 3, maybe you might manage 4 service calls in one day, and you look good.
That's right.
Whereas up here, last service day I did 7, and I still had time at the end of the day to like sit at my office and do emails.
That's a lot. Yeah, 7 calls are a lot. Now, Charlotte, you could run where I'm at now in Charlotte. It's a lot more spread out. I mean, I feel like Charlotte's 10 years behind Atlanta, big time. It's not even close.
Yeah.
And of course, the other week we went to New York, and all I could think about walking around New York was how would you do service here? And I never saw. I looked around, I never saw an HVAC guy. I mean, everything was a damn window unit, or I guess. I mean, I don't know, a mini split. I mean, I never saw a van.
They're probably like, right, you're booked to go to this one building, and you're just going to service
everything.
You're going to do all the units in that one building today, and that's it. Like, you're not driving anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, I looked hard for some vans. You know, I was trying to just look them up, and I didn't see anybody. I mean,
I feel like you don't. Well, like in Manhattan, I feel like you really probably don't see them. There's probably mostly like in-house maintenance guys that all their tools are on the floor until you
there's nowhere to park
until you get Long Island and other places where you can actually start driving around and do stuff.
Right.
Totally.
I just feel like you could just catch a cab with your tools like down to the next call.
Here, can I load my 300-pound pack out kit in here? Wait, here's my torches. Hold on. Gauges, can I hang these can I hang these by the back windows? Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I mean we ran up $100 Uber tab, and we didn't go
anywhere
4 miles all day.
I can only imagine. I've never been there, but I can only imagine.
Man, it was a lot. There was a lot to take in. A lot of window units, a lot of mini splits, just everywhere.
Sounds like anxiety to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing that made it was Christmas, right? That's the only thing that kind of helped it.
Totally.
Of course, a lot of people were like, man, you got to come back in the summer, man. This place is great in the summer. I'm like,
Yeah.
At the world
I'm
famous Plaza Hotel.
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm meant to be going to New Jersey, I think, to go see Centrotherm's like facility sometime next year. So I'm sure I'll get a little bit of the treatment and head into the city then. But yeah,
Nice.
I'm being surrounded by all those big buildings. Yeah, not my thing, man.
No, I mean, I didn't see the sun. I mean, and there was no clouds, but you don't see the sun. Like I never saw it the whole day. I mean, it was daylight, but
Are you?
I don't know where
You're like buildings everywhere.
Yeah, it's just when they say concrete jungle, man, that's what it is.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Like I spent a lot of time in Kuala Lumpur and Singapore when I worked on rigs and stuff, and it's the same. Like just towers everywhere. But luckily, when you stay somewhere, usually the pool's on the roof, so you're good.
Now, did you work for the same company all the years you worked on rigs, or did you move company to company multiple times?
What did I do? I did 6 years with one company because they were the ones who put me through my apprenticeship.
Gotcha.
But they were the one who sent me 7 years. 7 years, sorry. They were the ones who sent me basically all over the world. So I was in Nigeria, Malaysia, Russia, where else? Brunei, God, man, all over the place, like all over the North Sea. So like lots of places in Europe and stuff too.
I mean, if we got young guys on the show wanting to get into this, right? Is that a good gig? Like the old rig?
If you're
HVAC?
single and want to make lots of money, then yeah.
Wait,
like-
there was, God, not to interrupt you. There was.
I mean, it
guy that
sounds
worked
like
on-
it. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, there was a guy that worked on a rig that lived in one of the apartments that Chris and I lived in for a couple of years. You know, he'd be gone. I think he was gone 6 weeks, back to 6 weeks or something like that. He had a funky schedule. Dude, he made crazy money. Like stupid, crazy 6 figures for what he was doing.
well, you can't spend it for one, right?
No, you got nowhere to go spend it. You just stack it, and then Page
I
Joe
started
was
my
a rig
career-
guy for a little bit.
Yeah, I started my career, like I'm a trained draftsman as well. So like I started off in the office for them when I was 17,
Nice.
doing layout drawings and 3D modeling and stuff. And then after 6 months of that, I said to the boss, like, you got to send me offshore or I'm going to gouge my eyes out. Like I can't stare at a computer anymore. Like it's not mentally feasible for me to be here. And he was like, well, if you'll sign up to do your apprenticeship, I'll send you away as soon as you turn 18. I'm like, deal. So like 10 days after I turned 18, I was on a rig. Like, so like I got super lucky. My mom was the operations manager at a company. Don't get me wrong. Like everyone's like, there's no way you did all that shit and you're only 32. And I'm like, I did, but I started really young and I just got in the right place at the right time.
Right.
And the company were happy to work me to death at 18 years old. And I was happy to take their money, you know? So like, by the time before I turned 19, I bought my first apartment. Like I bought my car, bought my apartment. Like, you know, it was great money, but we were what you call ad hoc. So we didn't have a rotation. You went away for as long as you had to go away and you came back for sometimes 2 days and then you went away again, you know, like, so when you're single, awesome. Take the money, live the life, you know, it sucks, but if you just put in the work, then you can come home and just chill. But yeah, when you go through a divorce, that kind of changes a little bit, I guess.
They say HVAC has got the highest divorce rate. I keep hearing that.
Where's that?
HVAC got the highest divorce rate.
100%. Like people don't understand.
100%.
Like people don't understand how bad HVAC is. Like during summer, you get shit on the whole summer, and then during winter, you get shit on the whole winter. You know, like you're not at home, even residentially. You know, you're not at home. You're busy. You know, at least with the rigs, if you have a rotation, you know, okay, I'm away then and I'm home then. So it wasn't till the final 2 years of working on rigs that I had a rotation of 2 and 2, which was nice, you know, because you could actually plan your life. But yeah,
Right.
Sometimes I got sent to Nigeria for 6.5 weeks and I came home for 3 days and then I got sent away for 2 weeks again.
Damn.
Yeah, that
No, that's not for a family. You can't. Raise
no,
a family
God,
like
no,
that.
no. And there's no doubt that that obviously has a part in playing with my divorce. But yeah, it's a single man. If you get into it early and you want to make some money, go at it.
And if anybody's listening to the show and needs a job,
Give me a
In
call.
Canada.
yep.
Yeah, give me
Canada
a
wanna
call.
go?
Yeah, if you want to freeze to death during winter and not get any sympathy from your boss, then yeah, give me a call.
Nice. Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't really for the support of my wife. Like you got to have support in this business, man.
Oh
It's
God,
brutal.
yeah. God,
One more call. I just got one more call. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh shit, it's 10:00 at night. Nice. Okay.
Yeah, man. My wife's an angel. Like, she puts up with so much, and she does a lot of the accounting and back end stuff for HVAC Strong. Like, she's on it, and she runs her own photography company, and she looks after my daughter. She is nuts for putting up with me. I'm not gonna lie, but she's also very good at being like, "Yo, you need to fucking rein it in before I stab you."
Right.
Like, you need to sort this out and chill out a little bit, or I'm going to beat you to death and nobody will find the body.
Yep, my wife watches a lot of ID channel, so
Yeah.
I'm fucked on that.
Mhm.
Nobody's even gonna know what happened.
Yeah,
my
I kept
wife
wondering
started as a CJ major because she
I
wanted
kept
to be a
wondering why
lab
my wife
tech.
was looking at like industrial sized blenders online, but they still weren't big enough to fit me, so we're all good.
Right?
That's when then the next search was like, that's a really sharp knife.
Yeah, yeah. Why did you buy 10 meat cleavers?
Right.
Look, it's a value pack. All right, I get it. Okay.
It's a value pack. Gee.
I was asking her the other day, I'm like, you listen to any podcasts? She's like, yeah, I'm listening to this murder mystery. I'm like, God, here we go with that. Murder mysteries, an ID channel. And I'm just like, I'm just going to take a sip of beer one day and that's just it. It's going to be over.
Easy, Angela Lansbury.
God. All right, so we haven't had a contractor on the show, I feel like, in a while. You got to have some kind of critter story, right? Or something got after you.
A what? Oh, a critter. I was like, a what?
A critter.
Yeah. I'm like, what
we
is
had
varmint?
we had Jeff on
A
here, and
varmint?
Jeff
Oh, I
got
heard about
attacked by
Jeff's one, yeah.
turkeys.
I was like, I've never heard of that in HVAC. What is that? Let me think. I mean, it was dead, but we went to a job. The only one I can really think of is we went to a job, and the customer was a hoarder. And,
Oh yeah,
so
love that.
we went in.
Oh.
We finally got into the house. She let us in the other door, not the front door, and I didn't realize why until I walked in, and then I was like, "Fuck." But yes, we followed the path through the house, and we got to the furnace, and we were relocating it from in the house to in the crawl space. And I was like, okay. And I guess it's just because she needed the closet to store more stuff. I don't know. Anyway,
Probably.
well, she was like, oh, the access is around the side. And I'm like, well, at least it's not going to be filled with shit. So we went around, found the hatch, opened it. And I'm like, oh man, this smell just hit me. And I was like, I grew up on a farm, a cattle farm. So smells don't really bother me that much. But I was like, this is like, there must be a fucking body in here or something, like for sure. So I started
lost your
calling
husband.
in. Yeah. Oh, I haven't seen Bernie in 10 years.
Yep.
So yeah, I started crawling in, and I was like, man, this is getting worse. So I'm like, okay. So I start counting the bodies. So there's 8 dead raccoons and 3 dead cats
Oh,
in the crawl space.
Poor trash
And
man.
I just turned around. I just turned around and crawled back out. And I called the office, and I was just like, there is not a fucking hope in hell that you are getting me to work down in there all day. Like, I've got a strong stomach, and things don't bother me, but that's just rough. And the smell was nauseating. And I was like, I didn't understand why she couldn't smell it in the house. But I guess there's just so much.
well, she's
stuff.
used to it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
just
used to
so
all
much
the other
stuff.
crap she's smelling in the house.
I was just like, okay, cool, like whatever. So the office was like, yeah, we understand completely. So they called her, and she was completely taken aback and like so apologetic. And I was just like, I don't know what to say to you, woman. Like, it's bad. And she was like, well, we had a problem, so we put down poison, and then like we just shut the door. So I guess I guess the animals.
I'm not crawling around in the poison too. Thanks.
Yeah, like I guess the animals.
Yeah, there's a couple cats,
a
couple HVAC guys down there.
Yes. So yeah, she just shut the door, I guess, and closed them all in. But I was just like, whatever. So then they tried to get me to go back a week later, and they were like trying to promise me that she had cleared out the crawl space and stuff. And luckily, they sent somebody else because they said it still stank. Like they said, there was no dead bodies or anything, but it just still was ripe. But
that shit's in the joists, man.
Oh yeah, that's not 100%. Coming out.
And I the only other one I went to was another house where like they'd been doing construction down the street. Like a lot of houses were getting torn down and remodeled and whatnot. And I guess all the rats had just run to like the next house and then the next house. So this guy had like filled his crawl space with poison. So once again, I went in there and it just stank of rat's piss. And then I started like crawling in and there was just rats everywhere. Like, at least they're all dead. Like, doesn't right. I mean, it wouldn't have bothered me if they were alive. Like, there's been rats everywhere on the farm, but like, it was just rough, you know. Nothing alive. I don't think I've ever been attacked by anything alive, unfortunately. No cool stories on that one.
So, what's the worst thing you've drug your little helper into so far?
My new guy?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if there's anything bad. We did a crawl space job that was pretty gnarly. Was a 21-inch crawl space?
Oh, your ass ain't fitting in that.
No. Oh, believe me, you'd be super surprised where I can fit. Like for a big
21-inch.
Yeah, like was it 21 or 23? I can't remember, but it was not comfortable. And
no, you've got an army crawl in that.
Yeah, it was rough. Not gonna lie, like you're lying on your belly the whole time.
Right.
But yeah, we got it done. That was one of the like first jobs we did too, so he was not super happy. But he's a good kid. Like he doesn't complain. Like he knows he's gonna get shit on. I warned him from the start. I said, "You're here to be my bitch. Like if I say jump, you say how high, and then we'll get on just fine." You know.
Right.
And so he's been good, but I think mostly just working out in the cold lately. He's definitely been rethinking his life decisions. But
I mean, that is cold, right? That's like no skin showing cold.
Yeah, that's a different level cold.
Oh yeah, I've had frostburn like on some of my fingers already, which took a couple of days for me to get the feeling back in like my fingertips. So
I hate working in gloves, man. I'm not a glove guy. Like
no, and that was with gloves. I'm not gonna lie, that was with gloves.
Damn.
But like thinner ones, so I can actually do something. You know.
Yeah, I can't stand gloves.
But yeah, me neither. You know, even when I worked on the rigs, it's compulsory to wear gloves, and I just can't. You know,
my hands look like shit because of that from all I've did in my life. But man, I just can't. Like when I can't grab a screw or feel what I'm doing, I'm like, you know what, we're losing these.
Yeah.
Oh, look, slice my hand open. Damn, look at that.
Yeah, and I'm the same. I'd rather have cuts and scars and whatnot and still be able to do my work, but. Like my dad always told me, he's like, never put your fingers where you wouldn't put your dick, and that's from the guy. That's from the guy who's missing 2 fingers. So
right,
it's like as long as you just watch what you're doing, then you're good.
Yep.
So, but no, it hasn't been too bad so far. It hasn't been too gnarly. We've been okay.
I was gonna say you don't want to run him off, man. There's not many behind him.
No, and as I said, he's a good kid, and we enjoy working together. So it's been okay so far.
All right.
Yeah, not too many ups and downs. But
all right, man. Well, I'm excited to see you at AHR, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. HVAC Tactical Awards gonna be good.
I keep forgetting about
ready for the
awards,
red carpet kilt.
Gosh. Well, now what I'm wearing is just going to be shit compared to a kilt. I mean,
compared to anybody, it's like you can't one up that.
It's tough to beat.
No.
That's why I was like, as soon as I knew I was going, I'm like, I have to get a kilt. Like, I just.
You think there's anybody else going to roll in with a kilt?
I don't know. Like HVAC J down in Vancouver, I think has a kilt, but I don't know for 100%. We were talking about it the other day.
I thought he was going to roll in on the scooter.
Oh yeah, he was
He's
talking
coming in
about
on the razor.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. But yeah,
I think the tactical awards are going to be pretty good size this year.
Oh yeah. Speaking to Ben, it sounds like it's going to be huge compared to last year.
Yeah, we need another updated video. Has he put one out?
Yeah, he put a thing on his story today of like the HVAC tactical like medals getting like laser engraved.
Oh shit!
Which was pretty sick. Like, dude, he's put in so much work. That guy's a legend. Like, he's been helped me from the start. Like, I can't say enough about Ben and Mike Mabry, HVAC roofer guy.
No joke.
Yep.
And Keith Flores, HVAC God. Like, all those guys have been legit.
Keith sends me and Rhydon videos all day
dude,
of the funniest shit, man.
So
yeah, he's awesome. Like,
I don't know if he sends these to everybody, but they are.
He sends me some stuff too. Like,
he's like, damn.
He's awesome. Like, business wise, guy's a genius. Like,
oh yeah,
and he's and then he's helped me a lot. Just I've asked him questions on like markup and how to do certain things or get into certain things, and he's been super helpful always. Yeah, I can't say enough about those guys. Same with Ben. Mike's always had my back if ever I've needed something. Those guys have all been great.
Well, I was gonna say, I mean, since
Mike
you're pointing that out, man. Pointing that out, like, people don't realize the community on social media for this stuff, right? Not just, hey, check out what I did today, but I keep hearing on this show of guys reaching out, like, hey, man, I'm on the other side of the world or other side of the country. Can you help me with this? I'm like, sure, man. This is what I would do. This is how I did my company. That's priceless. I mean,
yeah. I mean, I get
able to jump on there.
Same daily, asking questions, and I try and help everybody. Obviously it's hard when you're trying to run a business and all this kind of stuff. But yeah,
right.
It's I always say to people, if you ever need help or have a question, I will get back to you. It might not be straight away, but I'll always try to help you best I can.
Yep.
And as you say, the community we have is fantastic, and it always has been, ever since I never realized the HVAC community when I was in Scotland, because I was always on rigs and I didn't really use Instagram as much and whatnot. Right. So, it wasn't the same, but, excuse me. But, yeah, after moving here and getting into it and stuff, it has been, pretty awesome, and that started off from the beginning. When I started getting into it, same with like, rest his soul, HVAC Mafia, like Victor,
right.
He was legit. He worked for Parker and Sons, which is a huge company. We went out to Arizona for holiday, and he took time out of his day to meet with us and me and the wife and show us around the place. And, he was like, if you ever need help with stuff, let me know and things like that, and everyone like that is super helpful.
Oh yeah. You can't beat that. That stuff's priceless.
Totally. And those are things you always remember. I'll always remember the people that were always there to help, and I will forever shout them out. I think I've always shouted people out on podcasts because they deserve recognition for what they do. Everyone works super hard, but they're always willing to help everyone else.
Right.
Well, and that's why we talk about Doc and Foodie so much. Those guys have embraced us since the beginning. And I mean, we talk to them constantly. Hell, I think Foodie and my wife talk all the time about food.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, they're just good people. We've met so many continuous as good people. Everyone you meet, it's great.
Totally. I think that's why I'm so pumped to get to the AHR finally. Is putting all the names to the Instagram handles and people that I've spoken to but never met.
Well, and it's overwhelming, man. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of shit to look at on this event.
So the last time
it's hard to even put in words.
Yeah, the only time Dennis and I have been to AHR was when it was in Atlanta in 2019. We were supposed to be in the podcast pavilion in 22, but like everybody else, we didn't make it for one reason or a freaking other.
Yeah.
So, we only got, what did we get? Like 5 hours? maybe to walk
Yeah,
around
we didn't even
the one
scratch
day.
the surface.
I mean, yeah. And I mean, we were wore the hell out from just wandering in one side of the place for 5 hours. You know, walking through,
yeah, I mean,
getting to walk through, I've said this every time, but it's still cool as shit to walk through a 200-ton unit. That was cool as hell.
But yeah, just walk through one side or the other. Yeah, you walk through the evaporator coil, just walk through it.
Totally.
Like,
I can only imagine, and that's why, I had tons of offers from people to be on their booth and stuff like that, and I didn't want to overbook myself and ruin it for myself at the same time. You know what I mean? Like, yes, it would have been awesome to be on lots of booths and meet lots of people and do demos and whatnot, but I just wouldn't be able to experience it. So, like, I've got, as I said, the Centrotherm booth for an hour or two, and then I've got the Rector Seal booth for an hour or two, and that's all I've got, and it leaves me open if somebody's like, oh, do you want to drop by, on whatever day? I can be like, yes or no, it just depending on what I want to do. I want to have that freedom, maybe next time I go, I can do a little bit more. But being my first time there, I want to be able to enjoy it and take it all in and do what I want to do,
No, I think you should, for sure. Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, you get hung up at a tool booth, it's just ridiculous. I mean, and there'll be stuff at this thing, companies will show up with stuff that they haven't promoted at all. It's all brand new.
Yep. That's one of the coolest things about it is you get to see so much new stuff.
Yeah, It's overwhelming for sure. I mean, you got to have a plan, right? You got to have people roll in there and just wander around, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't know they were at AHR. And when when you go home and you're like, shit, I should have. It's just so much.
Yeah, man. I'm erect with excitement.
So speaking of which, if you're erect with excitement for AHR, make sure to go to the AHR Expo and register. Also, they do have a handy dandy show planner. Quite literally,
they got their app.
My show planner. The app's up and running.
Yep.
And then I'm trying to make sure. If you're looking for booth numbers, I don't know what the Centrotherm booth is, but the Rector Seal booth that ourselves will also be at a different time is B2029. So make sure to get to
Centrotherm is C7125.
There you go, C7125. Now, what's funny is I had talking about Instagram community. Dennis and I are in wholesale. I've been in TM for almost a decade. And I've never even heard of Centrotherm until we started seeing it on Instagram. I don't know who even sells it down here, if it's even sold in the South.
I have not seen it.
I've never seen it here.
I've only seen it on Instagram.
Yep.
There's a lot of guys don't know about it. Like that don't know about the products that they have, and it's an awesome system. Like I could talk about it forever, and that's why they want me to be on their booth, because I really love the product. I think it's awesome. It's super easy to install, whether it's the venting system or whether it's the like HRV ducting system called Air Excellent.
Right.
And those guys are just awesome as well. They've helped me a lot. And even if it's been like, I can't get product here, I'll like contact them and they'll just drop ship it to me directly as well. Like those guys are sick. So
awesome.
Yeah. They've been super helpful, and that's why they're like, we want to fly you to come see our like facility and all this kind of stuff too. So, I've met a couple of their reps, they're Canadian reps, but I've never met the guys who I always talk to on Instagram, and I did their podcast as well. I've never met those guys in person, so I'm just super hyped to meet everybody and show my appreciation and whatnot.
Nice. So yeah, go check out HVAC Strong at 3:00. At the Rector Seal booth. We'll be there at 11. And yeah, man, appreciate you coming on the show. You finish up that whiskey or what?
Certainly did. It's kept me nice and warm.
Right?
Yeah, warmed me up real good.
So yeah, we'll see you down there, man. It's coming up.
Not long.
Looking forward to seeing you cuss out your apprentice on Instagram.
Yes.
Make sure to give him an extra hard time the next couple days so you guys get a laugh.
Awesome.
Right? You gonna ride around and listen to the podcast?
Yep.
I was gonna say we should have went at him hard on here just for the shits and giggles, but
there's still time.
Yeah.
He's only 19. He just broke up with his girlfriend. He's living life real good. Like,
oh yeah.
He was miserable, and now he's just a different person. It's great. It's like living vicariously like through him. It's like I'm 19 again. He's like, dude.
Oh yeah.
He's like, there's just so many broads in this town. He's like, just Tindering all day. I'm just like, Jesus.
Tindering.
He's never on his phone when we're working, but as soon as we're in the van, he's like, man, check this kid. Like Tinder, Snapchat. I'm like, man.
God, you imagine? We were 19, man. You couldn't get.
Yeah, 19, you're like, let me get the phone book so I can find her number and call her up.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to call somebody that knows her or something.
Yeah, or you like sit, or well, I don't know. You guys are probably a little older than me, but for me, it was like sit on MSN, and you're sitting on MSN for an hour just waiting for one girl to come on so you can talk to her.
Yeah.
Yep. Now it's live. You're like, oh, yes. Then her internet drops out, and that's it, ruined. You're like, shit.
Dial up. Yep.
Yeah, literally. Like, kids don't know they're living nowadays.
My son's actually, he's not a big fan of all that on the phone. Because he's watched enough documentaries, I guess, of how shitty it can be, like to get hooked up on that and just get lost in the social media. And
oh yeah,
he took a lot of it off his phone. I mean, just on his own. So
good kid. Yeah. Me and the wife spoke about that. We were like, imagine trying to date nowadays. Like if you had to go out and date, like Tinder, like how many creeps and stuff you'd meet, or just like You'd have to like meet somebody for dinner and like wait outside until they sit down and then be like, nah, I'm done. I'm out. Bye.
Yep.
Like I can't do this. Like
farmersonly.com.
Right, you gotta like buy a RussianBride.com and ship one over.
Oh man, I wouldn't even know where to start.
Honestly, yeah. Like,
you know what? I'd be old school. I'd just go down to the closest bar and just. I mean, I don't know what's any better.
Do people still just do that though nowadays? Like,
yeah,
I
guess
maybe.
I mean, there's a ton of dudes in there, right? But I don't think women just stroll down to a bar. Like, hopefully a guy comes in here. I don't see that.
It'd honestly be easier just to change your orientation.
Right. True. Change your pronouns and.
Yeah, I can't do this anymore. I'm just gonna date dudes instead.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. So where I was training at today.
Oh man, here we go.
Oh, I'm glad you brought that up. Where I was training at the day, I was talking to the owner just off to the side. We were talking about his structure, and I asked him how he was growing and how he's approaching it. Same thing we're talking to you about. He's like, man, I had to catch a call the other day. It's a pretty good sized company, but he said I ran a call the other day. The lady was just. She's ran all of our techs off. And he said, I'm out there and we're standing outside, and he looks at the unit and he's like, yeah, she's on her last leg. And the lady's like,
oh God.
Oh yeah. She's like, how do you know if she's a she? And he's like, I didn't know what to say. Like, is this for real?
I do.
Are we really talking about this right now? He's like, he said it was not good. Like, I don't know. She was in her 20s. He's like, yeah, she's on her lap. I mean, this guy's, he's 50 something years old.
Doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, and she just said, to cause a problem.
Yeah, she's on her last leg, and she's like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, why does she have to be a she? That's you don't know that she's a she. Like, she was going in a full blown conversation about it. He's like, it's just old, right? The unit's done. Like, I'm not having this conversation.
So why does it have to be old?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I told him, I said, man, I'm glad I'm out of the field now.
Yeah, man. God. That's Vancouver. Like, honestly, that's the shit I hate. I'm sorry. I'm old school. I don't care if people hate me for saying this, but I'm old school, and I just can't deal with it. It hurts my soul. I understand we have to be inclusive. This might get a little political, but I understand we have to be inclusive, and I'm okay with that, and I can deal with that. That's fine. Yep. But just to go so hyper opposite in the space of a couple of years is fucking nuts. It's just right. It's gone too far. You know, I'm happy if you guys want to be a paperclip. That's cool. You can be a fucking paperclip, and I will respect that, and I will call you Mr. Paperclip. But the whole world doesn't have to change to revolve around Mr. Paperclip.
Correct.
So
yeah, my daughter's in 6th grade, and she's dealing with it.
Yeah,
that's
weird.
not good.
No, man, it's weird. Like,
one kid in the class is a cat. You know, there's just a lot of shit going on. I mean, we have to talk about it at the house, and I can't. I'm like, I told my wife, like, I gotta walk away. I want to mess this up so bad.
Yeah,
like,
my dad would.
I was gonna say, you talk about that. My wife and I watch a bunch of stand up, and Sebastian Maniscalco's newest special, he talks about a kid in his kid's class that thinks he's a fucking lion, and he's like looking around. He's like, really, seriously, right now, we're gonna do this?
The poor teachers have to deal with that. Like,
yeah, like I feel sorry for them. You know,
oh man,
half of them are on board with it though. That's what's crazy. My mom was a teacher, and I couldn't imagine her not wanting to smack a kid upside the head.
Yeah, my sister's a teacher. She's like head of her department or a vice principal or something, but she's fucking weird and she's into all that shit anyway. So I just leave her to it. You know, I can't get into a discussion with her about that. But I feel sorry for most of them because they obviously, you know, they have to deal with all this and learn all this stuff. But you know, trades will have a hard time dealing with it, I guess.
Right.
That's
what I was getting at. He was just like, look, I can't. It's an HVAC unit, and it's broken, and we're replacing it. If you don't want us to replace it, then call somebody else.
Yeah, I mean, it's whack, just whack. But the world we live in is a weird and mysterious place, and always will be.
That's right.
That's true.
And there ain't nothing we can do about it.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Yep.
I appreciate you guys having me. It's been a blast.
Yeah, we appreciate your
Thanks
time,
for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. And as we said, can't wait to meet everybody. And I'm sure we'll get a couple beers in person. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah. We're set up next to the beer garden.
That's the best part. There's a beer garden in the middle of the podcast pavilion.
Yeah.
So I'll see you guys every like 10 minutes then.
Yeah, we'll see you every
Right.
Well, so that's the reason I picked the afternoon slots to record, was so that we could get away with drinking while we do our shows.
Perfect. I'm gonna have to get one of those like beer hats that all you guys wear to football games, so I can walk around with my kilt on and a beer hat.
Genius, Dennis. That's what we need.
I have one, but it's a big plastic cowboy hat.
So, who cares?
No, I know. It's like, I mean,
I want one. I want a big plastic cowboy hat to go with my kilt.
I'm gonna have to dig that up for
It's
HR.
fucking sick.
See if I can get my headphones up over that.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna have to get on Amazon right now and find one of those.
Oh yeah, I'll shoot it right to you. I
I've
know
got
where
a big
there's
foam finger as well, so I can just walk around the place. Oh man.
All right, man. Well, take it easy, and if you need anything from us, let us know. Hit us up on Instagram, and
thank you very much. And I'll send you a
see you
picture of this whiskey. You got to try it. It's so smooth, like one of my favorites. Favorites.
bring a bottle in your suitcase somehow, and
I'm only taking carry-on though. They don't let you, do they?
no.
Hell, we might find it down here. We'll go. Hey, Dennis. We'll go to Frugal McDougal.
We gotta. Frugal's gotta have it. Frugal McDougal's gonna have it.
I'll send you some recommendations. Because do you guys like bourbon or what's your usual?
Yep, I'm a bourbon guy.
I'm a Scotch guy too, actually.
Okay, so more. Your guys are more of a smooth whiskey rather than like a peated whiskey, which is quite
Scotch. Scotch tastes like dirt.
Well, no, that depends. That's because you probably had the wrong one. If you're used to like bourbon,
it's like earth.
Yeah, that's a peated whiskey. Those ones give me terrible heartburn. Like I can have one or two, but they just kill me. I'll send you some smooth recommendations. You'll like it.
All right.
Good
deal.
Sorted.
All right, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thanks.
When I come home, I know I'm gonna be the man